Oh, you there. I'm Nick, and this is Thought Factory. I work in a factory, which gives me time to think of wild, interesting, and crazy things about the world around us. I'll be discussing whatever's on my mind with no script while crushing Bloons Tower Defense 5 levels. Come for the balloons, stay for the commentary. Hopefully, anyway. Until I learn to edit. So that was the only scripted part. I realized as I was saying it that there actually is one scripted part, and that is the intro. But I'm going to have to change that intro up a little bit. It's got a little bit too much fat on it. But that's the start for now. And right now I am working on Impoppable on Toyland. Toyland Impoppable. If you guys are following along to this series, subscribe. I'm giving 1,000 subscribers. I'm giving a giveaway. So if you guys are interested in this stuff, please feel free to subscribe, and I'll keep providing more of it. I'm trying to do 3 videos a week. I didn't get the 3 videos last week. I'm actually pretty sick right now. I'm not sure if anybody can hear it in my voice, but I've taken a bunch of medicine, mainly Dayquil and Sinutab, and it's helping me get through the day. So I'm making a couple videos today. I got a bunch recorded, and I'm just trying to do commentary gang style. So I got a quote here for you boys, because I like doing quotes. I love quotes. These are part of my factory thoughts. I think of stuff in the factory, and I write it down constantly, and I throw it up on my Twitter. So this is the quote. To be an inventor, you have to be willing to live with a sense of uncertainty, to work in this darkness and grope towards an answer, to put up with anxiety about whether there is an answer. Ray Dolby. That is a great quote for anybody who aspires or is an inventor or knows an inventor. That's part of the struggle that goes with it. I'm very similar to, like, I have this type of mindset around things. I feel like I am quite an inventor. I'm quite inventive, I guess it should be a better way to say it. I haven't really invented too many products that actually have come into existence, other than things that other people have already kind of done, and then I've reused them for other things. Pretty good at that too. I look at things as tools. I think a lot of people, a lot of men are like that, right? Like, you can look at it doesn't, you might need a hammer, but my brother did this the other day. A piece of wood will work, and actually sometimes it's better. He was doing it to take down some shelves that had little pop-in, like, I don't know what to call them. When you got like a smaller hole and a bigger hole, and you can put it into the bigger hole, and then you slide it into the slot so that it locks it. But he didn't want to use a metal hammer because it was going to damage the finish on the shelf. So he used a piece of wood that has a lower tendency to scratch and damage that stuff. So that was an inventive way to do things. So I think men, they tend to think of objects around us more as tools than not, because we have to be inventive to solve problems. So this quote, I found this quote. This is by a guy named Ray Dolby. I am sure that many people listening to this are probably not familiar with the name, but as soon as I start to describe the stuff that he's done, you guys are going to be very familiar. So Ray Dolby has 50 patents. If anybody watches pretty much any movie, but a lot of movies that you'll see inside of a theater, it'll come up at the beginning as like Dolby Atmos, and it'll be that like loud noise, I think, and it kind of fills your entire audible field. He is like an inventor of audio equipment and sound production equipment. Actually, as far as I know, he has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and despite never acting. And I'm sure that there's other people that have that too. It's just I don't usually think of those people as having Hollywood Walk of Fame stars. Like, he doesn't seem like a guy who should have one, Maybe he's done a lot of work. He did a lot of work for, like, I think George Lucas actually gave him a lot of credit for the sound effects in Star Wars, because he said, like, without without him, he wouldn't really be able to do it, which is quite impressive because George Lucas was a very inventive guy in and of his own right. So him giving credit to an audio version of him is, I'd say, quite a mark in his cap, or a feather in his cap for Ray Dolby. He was a nerd behind the scenes that made movies great. And I think that some people, they're the forefront front runners of things. Like, in bands, you'll find that generally the lead singer, or maybe it's one of the lead guitarists or something, generally is the person who leads everything. While in this case, like, Dolby wouldn't even be on the stage, right? Like, there you'd have all these actors and stuff. Like, if you could think about it as a movie, it's like you have all these actors and stuff that get all this credit for all of this production capabilities, when in reality you have these guys behind the scenes that have invented some of the equipment. Like, he did a lot of surround sound work. I know he's done some other stuff, but it's one of those things where I think unless you're in the audio field, it's really hard to understand how much this guy's really done. And I'm not in the audio field, so it's hard for me to understand. But what I do know is that this guy he's built a company, and I don't know if he's a billionaire, but I tend to really like, billionaire stories. And it's like, this guy's like probably a billionaire, and he's behind the scenes. He's not somebody that anybody would have probably recognized walking down the street. It's just kind of a miraculous thing. He stayed private while also accomplishing a lot of the things that he wanted to accomplish. He rubbed shoulders with some of these guys like George Lucas and giant film creatives and directors, and it's just impressive, that a guy like that can be such an impressive inventor that people will find you, like, or I guess you find them, because no, I imagine they find you. Like, in that world, I think things are relatively small. Like, there's probably only so many different types of audio choices that you can pick for certain things, right? I know that Dolby has like, when you're doing sound stuff. One second here. Sorry about that. I had to pause for a brief moment. My dad's in the other room and he's watching YouTube. You might be able to hear it in the background there over the past little bit. He tends to have the TV up pretty loud, and he's watching trucker videos. So there's like a loud transport truck in the background. It's like, man, a little loud for me and me trying to make YouTube videos over here. But thank God I asked him, and he, was okay with turning it down. Very appreciative for that. Yeah, where was I? Ray Dolby. I love that guy. But we'll move on to a different topic here. I tend to just talk about stuff and do commentary on things, and, make comments on things that I find interesting or uninteresting, or things that are annoying. I got one for you guys today. This is something that I've been thinking about. I have like a list of talking points here, and I don't even need to reference it right now because I got a fresh one. So I spend a lot of time in the public library working on stuff because I like it, and I like it as a work environment. It's quiet. I like being around books and knowledge, people who are working on things. So, usually there's other people there that are working on stuff. You don't know what they're working on, and I don't really care, as long as they're quiet and not causing problems. Now, I mean, downtown libraries tend to draw in crowds of like homeless and drug people too, but they're around, but they don't tend to bother me because I think I look like a big scary bastard, so they don't want any part of me. But the other day, I was there Saturday, they had this it was a Chinese association meeting, and I don't have any issues with Chinese or anything. There was a lady who thought that it was like okay to just bring her unleashed dog into the library. And it's like, I mean, like, I'm just gonna say it. It's like, lady, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I didn't say it, but I'm thinking it. You know, in the back of my head, I'm like, this lady probably has this dog and probably claims that it's a therapy animal or a stress animal, or whatever the fuck she wants to call it. It's not a service dog like a blind person has a dog, right? And I think about it like this. I think like, well, does that mean I can just bring like an alligator somewhere, or like, say I wanted to bring a camel, and I was like, this is my therapy camel, and I just bring it into the library. Like, it's on a leash. Is that cool? It's like, fuck no, man. Get your goddamn camel out of this bitch. Like, like, you know what I mean? And this dog like it wasn't unbehaved, but he also wasn't like well behaved, you know? I mean, I guess I should be fair. He was fairly well behaved, but I know the dog's name, and the dog's name was Ben. And the reason I know the dog's name was Ben was because she had to say it 30,000 times in like a silent library where everybody's being quiet, and she's going, Ben, Ben, come over here, Ben, sit down, Ben, Ben, you need to be quiet, Ben, Ben, come over here, Ben. Anytime somebody decided that they were gonna walk by and were completely distracted and detracted by this dog, you have this lady who's now going, Ben, no, relax, Ben, Ben, no, Ben. It's like, come on, lady, can't you just put a leash on this bitch? Like, I know that you're probably stressed, but sorry, take your dog and leave it at home. Personal opinions. That's a personal opinion of mine. Other people probably don't share that opinion, but I can't understand, like, and this is where I'm coming at it from. This is like we're in a library, you know? We're not in a, like, I don't really think that there's an appropriate place to bring dogs inside necessarily, you know? Like, unless it's a dog store, like a pet store. If you're getting your dog a toy, like, that makes sense to me. That's the only spot really inside that a dog should be. Like, you shouldn't be having one in a coffee shop. You should, and okay, now I'm gonna provide a caveat to that, and the caveat is that blind people who require them as service dogs, and also there's a big difference between a service dog and a therapy dog. Anybody who's ever seen a service dog locked in, that dude's in the fucking zone. Like, I like those dogs. Those dogs are cool as fuck. They're awesome. Like, those are working dogs that know their shit and they protect their owners. I really love that stuff, you know? And those dogs, I'll say it, I think those dogs should pretty much go anywhere. Like, but it's like those dogs are so well trained and so well behaved, right? But they're also they're not like roaming around free. If I was just walking down the street and my dog's just roaming back and forth and smelling posts and licking people and doing all this type of shit, it's like, that's different than a service dog. A service dog is like right beside the blind person and they're holding on to them and this dog is leading them around. Like, impressive. The fact that you can have a dog trained to do that is impressive. It's absolutely miraculous. And now you have somebody who's now going to claim that they have like a disability. And I'm not going to lie. I looked at this lady up and down and I'm like, she looks fine to me. Like, actually, and if she has the ability to do the training required to get this dog to this point, she should be able to train herself to not need so much goddamn therapy. Like, what? Come on, lady. Like, I'm nothing against therapy. You know, people go to therapy. That's cool. You know, if you need it, you go to it. But like, don't bring a dog. Like, because this is where I'm going at with this. Because this lady needs her therapy dog in the library, now it's going to make everybody else around them uncomfortable. And I will say it made me uncomfortable. Just because it was super fucking distracting. I'm working on something, and fairly so, somebody could say, well, why did you go to the library if you didn't want to be distracted? And it's like, I like place association. For anybody who's familiar with psychological things, if you want to work out, don't try to just get up and work out beside your bed. Try to go to a gym and work out, or go outside, or change your environment. Associate the place with the activity, and you're probably going to have a higher level of success. You know, it's partially on me for having my place of association for working on personal projects and writing objectives and, you know, lists and whatever else I decide to do there. It's partially on me for going there and having that as my place association. But it feels like an invasion when somebody decides to bring a dog. Like, I'm just like thinking inside my head, what if I go get an alligator and I put a leash on the alligator, or I want my alligator to just roam free and I just go, yo, alligator. What if I called him Gator? You know, hey Gator, come over here. What if he doesn't listen? You know, what if he bites someone's fucking leg off? Like, dude, it's just like, this dog didn't look vicious or anything. I'm not gonna claim that, but I just, a little bit of a rant, you know. But stuff like that bothers me. The overprotection of people, over bubble wrapping themselves, you know, and making everybody around them uncomfortable, because they decide that they want to have a dog in public. And library staff did actually inform the lady that the dog needed to be restrained in some kind of way, either in her arms, in a bag, or on a leash. You know, I thought the in a bag thing was kind of odd, and then I realized, like, you got those little chihuahuas that hang out in bags, and I was like, yeah, I can kind of get that. Or you got, like, you know, those backpack wiener dogs that hang on the back of skateboarders and shit. So I was like, yeah, I kind of get it. But fucking weird, people. Keep your dogs out of libraries. Keep your dogs out of public places. Like, I mean, you know, if they're on leashes and stuff, like, I don't mean public places completely. Like, you know, you got to take them for walks and stuff. But I just mean, like, don't take them inside the restaurants and stores and cafes, and, like, unless it's specifically designated for that. And I know that these places might say, yeah, it's okay if you bring your dog in here. I don't think that a dog should be inside of, like, you know, a cafe or inside of, like, a restaurant. Like, that just seems like a little bit much for me. And I've seen that before too. And I've seen it with signs on it where, like, the dog will actually have, like, a sign that says, like, therapy animal. And I'm like, I just want to, like, get mad at the person. But every time it comes up, I'll probably just end up doing something like this where I just rant a little bit about it and then move on with my day. Because what else am I going to do? I only had to deal with this lady once. And it's not like she was being disrespectful. It's just annoying. Like, after about, like, 50 Ben, I got annoyed. And actually, there was quite a funny interaction. There's a deaf custodian who works there at the library, and the deaf custodian was like, whoa, like, holy shit, there's a dog in here. Was kind of, like, freaked out by it. And since he can't hear, he couldn't even hear that the dog was, like, barking at him, you know. And this lady was, like, freaking out, trying to get the dog to, like, stop, and was sort of, like, trying to get the guy to, like, go away. But he's, like, couldn't hear the dog and was just kind of like, hey, cool dog, like, you know. And I was thinking to myself, like, I don't want this dog here. He seems very shocked by it, you know, and he's probably thinking, like, just don't shit on the carpet, dude. Like, I don't want to have to clean this shit up. So I don't know what exactly he was thinking. I do sign language with this guy. I don't do sign language, but we, you know, have a little conversation with mouthing things and, you know, doing some hand stuff. He's cool though. He sees me there all the time. So, you know, you learn these little methods of communication with people, even though you might not necessarily be able to talk, right? It's like a person who's speaking a different language. You guys can still somehow get points across without necessarily having the exchange of words. So, yeah, that's my whole bit on therapy animals. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. I keep them at home. Actually, it's not that I don't like them. Just keep them at home, you know, or keep them in, like, go for a walk with them and take them on trails and, like, you know, walk them on the sidewalk. Like, I like dogs. I'm a huge fan of dogs. Just, it's a place and time, people. Like, place and time. Like, you know, if I just decided that I was going to bring, like, a dumbbell set to the library, and in between writing paragraphs, I was going to do a set of dumbbells and be loud as fuck. Like, is that okay? Well, they're my therapy dumbbells. Like, no, not cool, dude. Like, shut the fuck up, right? So, anyway, that's my whole point. If you guys like that story, subscribe. That's a Nick rant. Factory rant. Maybe that's what I should rename the channel to, Factory Rants instead of Thought Factory. I don't know if that's a good name. If you guys can come up with any better names, please let me know. I'll leave the comments open, and I'm going to take off all the restrictions. There's, like, usually basic restrictions on all this shit, but you guys say whatever the hell you want. I don't care. Probably not gonna look at too much of it. I mean, I'm gonna look at it. Obviously, I'm gonna see every comment because there's not much. There's not like I'm getting a ton of comments, so I'm gonna see everything. But you know, I just want to open it up so that anybody can say whatever they want. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. So I got other points to talk about here. I'm just trying to think, which one do I want to get into that I can sum up in 2 minutes. The school system's pretty fucked. I guess that's one thing I should say. School system seems like it's going downhill quite a bit. I don't think I can really cover that in 2 minutes though. Oh, this is I guess I should just ask you guys, do you guys think this is a good rebrand? Directing my content more towards people who are interested in factory workers' thinking and their thoughts. I know that this content is, mainly based around Bloons Tower Defense 5, but that's mainly just because I don't know how to edit. I would love to throw all kinds of other stuff into here, but the time not time restriction. It's almost like the dedication of time to editing is just so extreme. Like, I was reading a YouTuber thing on Reddit the other day, and it's like new YouTubers, and I think somebody posted that's like they made a 30-minute video or 15-minute video, and it took them between 7 and 10 hours to edit. And I'm just like, man, that's like, I just like the outsized returns. If you get a lot of return on it, like if you got 100,000 views or 10,000 views or whatever it was, like, maybe then it might be worth it. But I just, I'm getting so few views anyway. And I do wonder if you go like Mr. Beast is a huge advocate of like making sure that the content is as good as possible. But I also think that's from his perspective, right? His perspective is like, yeah, he could watch it 10 times. And if he could make something better every time, then he would. But I could make things better, a little bit better. I don't think that it's going to have the same kind of return. I might be wrong. Mr. Beast might be right. Do I lose here? I might end up losing here. Uh-oh. This is the end of the video. I don't think I lost here. Ooh, it doesn't look good though, eh? Shit. Did he make it through? Oh, I made it through. Well, thank God. Actually, I do lose one coming up, but we'll get there when we get there. Thanks, guys, for watching. Subscribe if you want to. 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Everybody, good luck with their lives. God bless. I'm not religious, but God bless, I guess.